welcome into this week's Citadel Gray Line. Jon Rawl, the general of all things Southern, in with you here this week, and we're going to be joined by Thomas Scruggs. Andrew Miller is on assignment and will not be in. It's an open week. I don't know what his assignment is, but it better be a darn good one. Actually, it is. Thomas, how you doing? Welcome into Citadel Gray Line, and good to have you back on for here, week number 2 with you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, John. Glad to be here.
And I know maybe one reason Andrew's not with us is because of that performance by the Citadel getting blanked at Mercer, 17-zip.
Not much to brag about if you're a Bulldog fan from last Saturday, John. All the way around, to go on the road and lose 17-0. Really the defense, I have to give it to the defense. Defense really showed up to play, with the exception of two big play drives. Offense just couldn't get anything started all day, and so it was all the way around a bad Saturday for Bulldog fans.
It was. We'll talk about it here on this week's show. If you'd like to get involved, our number to text us is 843-779-8496. Would love to hear from you here on the Gray Line. Again, Andrew Miller of the Post-Courier is going to be out this week, but we got Mr. Scruggs here joining us. And we're going to talk about football. We'll talk about some history involving the Military College of South Carolina. We've got a 100th birthday being celebrated right now on the campus. But Thomas, let's put things in perspective. Let's start out this week with some unfortunate and tragic news in Citadel family. You were told at the Columbia Area Citadel Club gathering on Monday they had a golf tournament about a tragedy that happened right there in the Midlands. Please, if you don't mind, fill us in on what you know.
Sure, John. So, yes, we were informed Monday that over the weekend, Jeremy Pitt's class of 2003, unfortunately, was in a fatal car accident in Lexington. And we need to keep the Pitts family in our prayers, along with Mr. Pitts. General Rosa's son, Jonathan, also died in that accident. So, a very sad week for the Citadel family.
And Jonathan was not a graduate as far as we know. His brother was a graduate, I think, class of 2003.
My understanding is, yes, sir, Brad Rosa, class of 03 as well.
And, of course, General Rosa, an alumnus and a longtime president at the Citadel. But tragic news out of the Midlands of South Carolina this week with the loss of a Citadel alum and then the son of a favorite in many Citadel people's eyes, General Rosa, his son, Jonathan, dying in a car crash over the weekend. Our thoughts for both families.
Absolutely.
How did the golf tournament go?
Well, we certainly didn't win the tournament.
And it was
we won the beer drinking contest. No, but it was a great time. The tournament, I think we had 120 players. So Greg Shealy, Columbia Citadel Club president, done a great job with that tournament. Multiple sponsors. So it was a great day. Any Monday you can get out on the golf course, before noon is a good Monday.
And let me be the first to acknowledge here that I have been a participant at some of the Columbia Area Citadel Club's recent gatherings. Been to the golf tournament one year with Brent Thompson out there. And then, thanks to a guy named Scruggs, I got invited to y'all's Columbia Area beer type thing. Mama, I'm sorry, I actually have had a beer. Y'all had something that y'all do pretty regularly at brew pubs in the Columbia area, and I went to that thanks to Greg Shealy and you and others.
Yes, sir. Once a month we do a pub takeover, what it's called. So Greg does a good job of trying to spread that all over the Midlands, downtown, West Columbia, Irmo. So it's a good time. It's an exciting time to be a member of the Columbia Citadel Club.
And I encourage you to go. Most gatherings like this, social gatherings, are done to have a good time, drink a few beers, maybe flirt with the ladies. Since the Citadel's dominated by males, that usually doesn't happen. But, if you want to do that, you can, but it comes with a little bit of a penalty. But we do have some great Citadel women, I guess, out there, too, that maybe they want to come flirt with the guys. I don't know. But you can do that at the gatherings of Columbia. But I want the Columbia Club to be in the envy of other clubs, because we got some real boring Citadel clubs out there. I know, I've been a part of it. Heck, I guess I helped lead one at one time, and we only got together like once a year, and that was a stretch to even do that. But good job there.
John, we're going to have to get you to put this on your calendar every September. We play at Golden Hills there in Lexington. So your hometown, Columbia Citadel Club has the annual golf tournament. So
Oh, that's where
love
it
to
was.
see you.
I
Love to
have
see you on the
never
tee box,
played.
John.
I've never played that golf course. Oddly enough,
That's
the
a
only
great
time I've
golf
ever
course.
been there was my knob year. I had a luncheon at Golden Hills en route back to Charleston after I'd been home for 2 weeks because of something called Hurricane Hugo. I
Hmm.
went there with my Citadel uniform on, by the way, my knob uniform, and then left there after lunch to go report back to the Citadel because we had to show back up after Hurricane Hugo. That's something I need to revisit here on this show. What a crazy time
That's
that
right before
was.
I got there.
I
Right
know,
before I
way
got there.
because I'm part of the old core. You're not, but just a bizarre couple of weeks there that we kept getting pushed back and pushed back, and all these rumors were flying. Meanwhile, the Citadel beats Navy on the road. We play a home
Yes,
game
sir.
against South Carolina State, and I had to go there and see all these upperclassmen who were wearing civilian clothes, and I guess I was in civilian clothes too. It's just a weird time, weird time.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Citadel's offense at Five Star Stadium. An offense that the previous week looked pretty good. Jerry got a nice touchdown and more in that win against ETSU, 20-17. And then first half, again, we're going to give mad props to that Bulldog defense. Coach Grantham, his team, his unit came through in a big way. But unfortunately, that offense had a grind against the Bears, and it showed with 0 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, John. Story of the game is the Citadel had 92 rushing yards, 92 versus 147 from Mercer. Two opportunities in the red zone, 0 for 2. You only have two opportunities in the red zone in a football game. You're not going to win. You're not going to win a football game, especially on the road in the Southern Conference. So offense has got to get back to work, figure out some things, especially before we go up to Boone and face App State.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Open week this week, and then at the Mountaineers on Saturday, October 1st. That's a 3:30 Boone time kick. And that's going to talk about a challenge. I guess App State might even be in the top 25. And,
Yeah, I think obviously they've got their the big win the whole country knows about. But App State in Boone. I guess my only hope is they've been out of the Southern Conference so long and they don't play teams with our type of offense very often. Maybe we'll have a shot.
I hope so. We're all hoping for another shocker there in Boone. Again, if you want to be part of our program today, very easy to do it. Just text us at 843-779-8496. Thomas is manning our Facebook page, and if you see any questions or comment come across, please feel free to share that with us, please.
And John, just going back to the game, a
Yeah.
little bit of a recap of the first half. It's unfortunate, we missed a field goal, a makeable field goal, about 40, 45 yards. Just barely missed it. And then, Mercer muffed the punt there in the second quarter. We get the ball in the red zone. We're going in to score, and we fumble it. So we easily could have been up 10-0 in this game going to the second half. But, we had opportunities there in the first half. We didn't convert. You go to the second half, and the story of the second half really is two big explosive plays by Mercer. Other than that, the defense had a great day. But, that inside run wasn't there all day. Mercer was stacking the box against us. So the passing game was average at best, probably below average. So really just couldn't get anything going offensively. Turned the ball over there at the end of the game on downs. So, again, it kind of felt like the offense never really got off the bus.
No, and looking at those numbers, first downs, the Citadel and Mercer had a similar number on that, 14 and 16 respectively. But here's what is stunning, Thomas: 92 rushing yards for the Citadel in this game compared to 147 for Mercer.
I can't remember the last time I saw a box score with only 92 rushing yards for the Citadel. That's typically, an individual rushing yard stat. But for the entire team, very uncharacteristic of this football team. So I think Coach Thompson's got a lot of things to figure out. We've heard a lot about the new cut blocking rule and how that's forced us to change things up a little bit. But, we got to figure that out, especially going into a place like Boone and with the tough, Southern Conference schedule we have. 92 yards isn't going to cut it.
Nope. And again, Andrew was at the game. Unfortunately, he's not with us today. We would probably be able to give you a little bit closer analysis had he shown up here, but we understand he's got a doctor's excuse, and we'll let him slide this week. But feel free. Andrew doing a great job as Jeff Hartzell created that great legacy at the Post and Courier, and Andrew Miller now carrying that on as the Bulldog beat writer. We want to let you know that Citadel Gray Line is powered each and every week right here on whatever outlet you're watching us on. Could be Facebook, it could be the YouTube channel that we have, it could be a message board, of which Thomas and I will talk about here in a few. But we want to let you know that we're powered in part by two great partners, and that's IPS Packaging and Automation and BigRedPalmetto.store. BigRedPalmetto.store has hundreds of items that you need to check out, all available with that wonderful Citadel logo. Which one, you ask? Well, they got lots of choices. Please go visit BigRedPalmetto.store and check out the array of merchandise. And last week, Andrew confessed that he is the parent of a Citadel student, not cadet, still Citadel student right now, and he's looking for a Citadel dad or Citadel parent option. Well, the staff at BigRedPalmetto.store heard all about that, and they want to let all y'all know that they have Citadel parent merchandise on BigRedPalmetto.store. So how about that? That's in addition to the other variety of stuff at BigRedPalmetto.store. And the cool thing is they offer at BigRedPalmetto.store, something we call here each week, I love it. It's called Knob Knowledge. And why don't we go ahead and fire that question off right now, our Knob Knowledge question. If you can correctly guess it, BigRedPalmetto.store will send you a $25 gift certificate. That is a heck of a deal. So check that out. Our Knob Knowledge question. That could be Knob Scruggs in that picture right there. I can't make that out. You know, I don't even remember you, so that probably was you there.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Our Knob Knowledge question has to do with Citadel history. How you doing on Cid history these days there, Scruggs?
Fair to middling.
Fair to middling. All right. Well, this one's one I don't think I remember being told about, this specific of a question. But in honor of the Citadel having its 100th birthday this week, its 100th birthday at 171 Moultrie Street. That's where the Citadel finds itself now, the so-called Greater Citadel. In 1922, the campus relocated from its downtown location to what we call the Greater Citadel at 171 Moultrie Street, as the locals would say. Thomas, and all y'all out there, although Thomas, you can't answer this, I want to know where the old Citadel, also known officially as the South Carolina State Arsenal. Did you know that?
I did.
Okay. I want to know where the original Citadel was and still is located. Tell me that address, and do not cheat. Do not pull out your phone and use Google Maps. Tell me that address of the original Citadel in downtown Charleston, and we will send you a $25 BigRedPalmetto.store gift certificate. That's pretty neat. And I'm fortunate that as a cadet, I actually went in that building. You know, back in the day, that thing was used as a county office for Charleston, and not many people really even went in that old Citadel. Now it's an Embassy Suites hotel. Have you stayed in there?
I have not stayed, and I don't remember when. I never went by when it was county offices, John. I just remember.
Well, you should have gone in front of it. If you went down there chasing the ladies at the college, you probably went by it at least.
I passed it a time or two on my way to the College of Charleston dorms.
The dorms that knobs go to, 50 of them to go see one girl, and
yeah, just not a good plan.
No.
Any current knobs down there, I wouldn't recommend it.
No, but that's okay. They're trying. But yeah, I've not stayed at the Embassy Suites myself. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Thomas, you know, I got a birthday coming up one of these days. It'd be a nice little a gift for me, not for the two of us, just for me. Get me a room there.
Yeah, let's clarify that, John. Maybe we can get a GoFundMe page started for John's old Citadel Charleston trip.
Yeah. But I understand it's a really neat experience. I do also. I've been told the rooms are rather small, as would be understandable. But check that out. We'll talk more about the 100th anniversary of the Citadel in just a few minutes as we look for the answers to be flowing in. Again, tell me that address for the original Citadel, the South Carolina State Arsenal. You tell me the first person to tell us the correct address, you get $25 headed your way. All right, Bulldog football team. Open week. What does that mean, Thomas? You know, I didn't get to play football growing up. I guess I was I was destined to tote a rifle, so I could not play football. What does an open week mean for this football team?
Well, I think an open week, John, means you get back to the basics. I know it sounds cliche, but you get back to the basics of who you are, you know, especially offensively. I don't think we have anything to worry about defensively for this football team, you know, based on last Saturday's performance. But really, it's really fine-tuning who we are offensively, who we want to be this season.
Well, I'm a little, I guess, not surprised. It's the way college football works these days. It's an open week after only week 3.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, you know, I always thought open week should be later in the year, but you know, it's a gift, so we'll take it. I don't recall seeing an injury report, so I think injury-wise, we're pretty healthy. So no excuses not to go up to Boone and give our A game.
Yeah, well, that is what the Citadel is going to attempt to do. Again, after an open week, the Bulldogs back in action, taking on those national love affair Mountaineers, because not only did they get that big win at A&M, man, what a huge Cinderella win they had against Troy the other day with a Hail Mary pass there in Boone. Good for them. Good for them. I want them to be riding high when the Citadel comes in and pulls the shocker. Follow Andrew there at the Post and Courier for all the updates on this team. I guess the Citadel coaching staff decided to take the week off in terms of a press conference. So this week at Johnson Haygood Stadium, it was a volleyball team type press conference. So we don't have any football information to be passing along today. That's okay. Enjoy the open week. Get a game plan and go beat those Mountaineers real soon. The Citadel right now 1-2. Does it surprise you, Thomas, that this Bulldog team is 1-2?
Not with our schedule. I think the Campbell game was a surprise to the alumni base, especially. I think we thought at the beginning of the season everyone circled that as a win, but that was the week before the game. I think you and I talked, and I said, have you seen some of the transfers that Campbell's getting in? A lot of big time D1 athletes, and really when you looked at the game from start to finish, we were outmatched physically. It was obvious. So really, if you looking at the score, 29-10 loss, if you consider the caliber of athletes that Campbell brought in, no, I'm not surprised to be 1-2 right now. I thought East Tennessee State was a must-win. It was a great win. I'm very disappointed that we didn't compete at Mercer. At least the offense didn't. I think I could stomach that loss a little better if we at least had scored a few points.
Yeah.
But to come away, getting blanked, that's a downer for the whole fan base, for the team especially. So, it's a big task. We could potentially be sitting here in a couple of weeks, John, 1-3, and still have a good football team. So, we're 1-1 in the conference. The goals are still out there in front of us. So it's not time to hang our heads. It's time to get behind the team. The offense knows what they have to do. And I think, we're a better passing team this year than we were in years past. And so I think, we had a lot of drop passes on Saturday. And if we could hit a few of those like we did in the East Tennessee State game, we could make the App State game very interesting. So anyhow, that's just my assessment.
Yeah, I think those numbers, and I just had it up, I think the receiving yardage against Mercer were almost the same as the rushing yards.
Yeah, like I said, we had some drop passes there, and when a team is stacking the box against you like Mercer was, it's hard that little inside run that we like to do. We're not going to break any of those when you got 7-8 defensive players in the box. So we're going to have to dial up a lot more passes to be successful this year. And I think we got a good passer. I really do. Even though he did play for Wofford.
Yeah, and Appalachian State.
And Appalachian State, true. So he's on former home turf.
That's right, and he's going to come back and have one heck of a reunion.
But John, I'll say one bright spot in the game I didn't mention. It was not a bright spot against East Tennessee State, was our punting. So we had James Platt, the Aiken native. He had some really good punts. He pinned Mercer deep several times, which helped our defense. I think he averaged about 43, 44 yards a punt. So that was a definite improvement from last week.
Aiken, the hometown of Thomas.
No, sir, that's not my hometown.
No, Thomas Ravenel.
Have we met? Oh, okay. Tom, no, that is not his hometown.
Well, that's where he lives.
That's where he has his new digs. Thomas had to get out of Charleston.
Something about those Thomases. You better watch out for them.
Tell you what, devious.
Hey, don't talk about an alumnus of this show, okay? Y'all got. By the way, I knew that would be. That was the most watched show of last year, which I got to give you mad props. Thomas, one of the reasons we got this Thomas, as far as I know, the clean Thomas, the ethical Thomas, that hadn't been arrested Thomas, I think. Have you been arrested before?
Not that I can recall, but
okay.
Is that an official question, John?
No, it's not an official question. You can just say sir, no excuse. But one of the reasons we got you on here is to build this thing up. We need a little boost, and you promised me we're going to have a couple million views this fall, so get on it.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. In case you didn't know that yet, we got a pretty good show. This show, by the way, the logo's right there. I think I'm pointing the right way. Yeah, it's that way. Right there in the corner. This is our 15th year of doing this show. 15 years of Citadel Great Line. Jeff Hartzell, a huge part of that. Jim Waddell. Got to thank Kyle Weaver and so many great people through the years who have been a big part of that. And now Thomas Scruggs and Andrew Miller joining me, the private, doing this show. Speaking of media outlets in the Citadel, you and I both have been, and it's been a part of this show for a number of years, posting on the Lords of Discipline.
Yes.
And then the only message board out there in Citadel world went away after the Campbell loss, and now I think it's back. What's going on there?
Oh, is it back? Okay.
It's back,
That's news to me. I know I went to look at the message board the day after or 2 days after the Campbell loss, and it no longer existed. It had been taken down.
And I thought I had been banned. That's what I thought.
You know, John, it sounds like you have experience with that.
No, I never had been, but I thought, why would I be banned? Because the only thing I'd put on there was the post of our first show for this year.
Right.
Which I've been doing for over 10 years, putting up. That's really all I ever weigh in on that thing. I'm selfish. I'm all about this show. I don't go in there and criticize me personally. I leave the criticism for this show. But people like it and some don't. It's America. We can criticize, but that website, Lords of Discipline, the Citadel Independent Sports Network, has been out there for a long, long time. And it's been kind of a daily ritual for a lot of people, and it went away, and now it's back.
Now it's back. I'm glad to hear that.
Did you see it? Can you confirm it's working today?
That's the only. Well, let me type it in right here. Yeah. Let's see here.
Check that out. I think it's back. I think the publisher, who is a fellow deltoid, like you and I, part of the frat. I think from what sources told me, he just got frustrated with all the criticism. He said, I don't need this. But now he's back. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's back. And let's see, I am clicking on it right now, and it's back up and running. That's good. It's a little different look than it was before.
We want to give him credit. I've asked Bill Horner, the czar of that site, to come on here, and we've just never been able to work it out. But he's put a lot of heart and soul, especially into recruiting. And I don't know what's going on that front, but anyway, it seems to be back. So we post this show on that site. We'll do it today when we're done.
Well, John, the two outlets for Citadel fans, for me personally, for the last decade or so, have been this show, Citadel Gray Line, and the Citadel Independent Sports Network. So
also known as the Lords of Discipline.
There you go.
I don't know what he wants it to be called, but it's the only message board.
I've always called it the Lords of Discipline message board. I think you type in, you Google Citadel Independent Sports Network, and that'll come up. So.
Well, we wish them well. We wish them well. Like I said,
Absolutely.
I know the staff there. They follow Citadel. They go to the games no matter where they are. They've even had T-shirts made through the years that I've seen out there. Good to have them back. All right, let's talk history now. Have we covered all the sports stuff?
I think we've covered all the sports things, John. We can
Okay.
talk history. You know, I was a history major at El Cid, so.
Well, I was a business major, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'll just turn the show over to you now. 100 years of the Citadel relocating to Moultrie on the banks of the Ashley. And I've always wondered, you know, we'll get away from the sports here. I've always wondered, both the Citadel and the College of Knowledge are great schools. They arguably are the best schools in the state of South Carolina. Could they have been, and should they be, much bigger, but they can't be because they're landlocked, both of them? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, everything in Charleston, whether it's, you know, an academic institution or a business or, you know, just regular development, yes, you are landlocked. But, you know, I think Pat Conroy said one time, you know, you can't imagine the Citadel without Charleston and vice versa. So I believe that the Citadel is the finest academic institution of higher learning in these United States.
Ooh.
So, but as far as do you want to be the biggest? No, you want to be the best. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
So it's hard to maintain that brand, in my opinion. You know, if we were a 5,000 member core, that'd be a lot different school than what we're looking at right now, and historically.
I think the college has about 10,000 students, which is pretty hard to pull off based on where they're located.
I believe they've bought up every available building, you know, there in downtown Charleston. You know, I have a niece at College of Charleston, and you know, housing every fall for the incoming freshmen is definitely a circus. I think she said to me, you would go to a potential house or an apartment and you got maybe 50 people standing there waiting just to get in and look at the space.
Well, again, the Citadel in 1922, the state of South Carolina helped, I guess, move them off of downtown on George Street or Calhoun Street, and another street that I can't tell you because it's part of our trivia question, which, by the way, let me remind people, if you can tell me the actual address of the old Citadel, you get a $25 gift certificate to BigRedPalmetto.store. So they move, they create this campus, which, by the way, do you know what was there where the Citadel's currently located? It actually could be a not-so-great nickname for the place.
I do know on one end of the campus there was a farm. I remember reading about that. Some of the farmland had to be cleared, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was a landfill.
Was the entire campus a landfill?
The large part of it, from what I understand.
Okay.
Not so scientific. I'm not the history major, but I've been told it was a landfill, which makes sense. You know, Charleston was a big city back in the 1800s and early 1900s. Where do they have to put their trash? They had to put it somewhere. And right. I think the place was a landfill. So our name could be the landfill. It was a graveyard. John, we know that. Johnson Haygood was.
Yes, sir. The school's a lot bigger than when you and I were there, you know, 30 plus years ago. We've got actually a 5th battalion now. What, about 400 more cadets? So back to your point, could the Citadel be any bigger? Well, in the past 30 years, we've grown, you know, by about 400.
Yeah. Well, I've always had this crazy dream. You ready for this, Mr. Columbia Area Citadel Club?
Oh, yes.
I'd love to see the Arsenal back up and going in Columbia.
I wish, and people don't know what so when Sherman's army came through and burned Columbia, we had one building that remained of the old arsenal. And John, let me back up a minute because a lot of people don't realize that the South Carolina Military Academy in the very beginning, when it was founded, consisted of 2 separate institutions, the Arsenal here in Columbia and the Citadel in Charleston. My understanding is the freshmen would come to Columbia to the Arsenal and spend their 3 upperclassmen years down in Charleston.
Yeah.
And so the only remaining building of the old Arsenal Academy is the governor's mansion. It was the old bachelor officers' quarters of the Arsenal Academy.
Somebody learned their knob knowledge when they were looking at the guidon. So good job.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. And it is a beautiful little spot in Columbia. If you've never been up to what they call Arsenal Hill, you can
Yes.
go up there, even if they don't have tours for the governor's mansion open. It's just a beautiful little neighborhood. I was there just 2 months ago up in Arsenal Hill driving around,
Hmm.
and they were having a wedding there on the grounds of the governor's mansion, and it was just lovely. Maybe the best looking spot in all of Columbia, to be honest.
It's a nice
Um,
neighborhood.
yeah, it
John,
really
what's
is.
surprising to me is if you look online, if you Google the Arsenal Academy, you won't find many resources. You may find a Wikipedia history. You'll find some things, obviously, at the Citadel's, Daniel Library or Archives website. But I've always hoped that someone would write a book about the old Arsenal Academy.
Well, you're the history major. Get on it. Let's cut this show off right now. You get to work. Thomas Scruggs, historian. All right, again, it's 100 years this week. The Citadel moves from downtown to its current location right on the banks of the Ashley. It's a great location, and what an awesome school, what an awesome city, and of course, pretty cool state that the Citadel is located, and in a pretty cool region of the country, I might add. But this week, again, 100 years, I'm sure there's other celebrations besides what we're doing right here on the Citadel Gray Line as we acknowledge the growth of the Citadel. Moving, I think when they moved there, they only built the 2nd Battalion. Paget Thomas Barracks was there for the first couple of years, then came Murray Barracks.
That's correct.
And they added on other things as they went forward. But happy 100 years on the Ashley Military College of South Carolina. All right, again, that knob knowledge question is still out there. I also want to tell everybody all about IPS packaging. Do you know Derek Murdoch?
I do not, Derek.
He's class of 97, just a young
Okay.
pup. IPS Packaging and Automation is a name Thomas, myself, all of us that we can trust. They've been providing manufacturers and e-commerce companies with the very best packaging products and automation in the entire packaging industry for a long, long time. IPS Packaging and Automation offers a complete line of packaging products. Thomas, they got stretch films, 3M tapes. Do you ever have to ship stuff out?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Sure do.
call up IPS Packaging. They got corrugated boxes, and they've got strapping and equipment automation. IPS Packaging and Automation, they'll take the time to come streamline and analyze your current methods to make sure that you have the best in your packaging process. Pick up that phone and give them a call at 800-277-7007 and learn more all about what Derek Murdoch, a Citadel alum, and what his staff are doing at IPS Packaging and Automation in Fountain Inn, South Carolina. And they are a proud supporter of Citadel Athletics. Their website is ipack.com, ipack.com. Check that inbox on our email, on our Facebook page, and see if we've got a correct guess on our knob knowledge for the week. Did you check it?
No. A little slow on the draw here. Let's see.
Slacker.
I
We got
know.
slackers on
I'm
our
fired.
staff. I'm gonna have to get some IPS packaging tape and boxes and ship you out of here.
Let's see here, John.
No,
Looking.
guess it might be a tough one. Again, you can't cheat. Thou shalt not
No.
cheat.
No, don't see it. We did have one comment saying glad Lords of Discipline is back up and running
Okay.
because it's the only place to come and follow the smaller sports like volleyball, soccer, etc. So that's good. Okay.
Yes.
But don't see an answer yet to the knob knowledge question.
Well, speaking of that Citadel soccer team, 9-0, the Bulldogs beat the South Carolina State Bulldogs with Senior Day. So, hey,
That's
we
great.
cover more than football here. We need to also bring on a coach of some type. We've got a new basketball coach, a new old basketball coach, and Ed Conroy. We will try to get him on in the coming weeks. We'll try to add other stuff. And assuming he's in these United States, a friend of mine from the class of 1991, I'm going to invite him to come on next week. Instead of talking about old history, we're going to talk about some military history of right now. As this
Outstanding.
fellow called me back in March, wanting me to go to Ukraine, and I was that close. Well, guess what? I think he went.
Wow.
and he's back and going back and forth, and he's doing a heck of a service. And if I can make sure he's back in these United States next week, we're going to welcome in Jerry Chivers to come on and have him talk about his experience in Romania in the last few months, helping out Ukrainian refugees. And, I mean, he sent me all kind of photos. He's like, when are you coming? When are you coming? Well, I just hadn't got there yet, but I'm coming. Just hold. I got to do this show for the next few months, and then I'll come, Jerry. But he's got all kind of efforts he's been involved in helping out the Ukrainian refugees and more. And they've got a scholarship at the Citadel now. Did you hear about this?
I have heard about that, yes.
And he's got a kid who came from Ukraine and I think is a knob right now.
Yes,
so
that's
we'll try to get Jerry on. He lives in the Camden area, and we'll try to get him on and have him explain what in the world's going on with Ukraine and the Citadel. That hopefully will be next week. If we don't get him on next week, we'll get him on very soon. But that's the kind of stuff we do here on the Citadel Gray Line. Love talk sports. That's fun. But when we can, we try to expand the horizon and bring on other Citadel-related topics. Bulldog football, I will end this note. Bad news for Andre Roberts of the Panthers. It looks like he's on injured reserve for a while. But Raleigh Webb was called off the practice squad for the Baltimore Ravens, and he got a special teams tackle in the Ravens' absolute meltdown against the Miami Dolphins this past weekend. So congratulations, Raleigh Webb of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, John, speaking of Coach Conroy,
yeah,
he'll be in the Midlands next week. We've got a pub takeover in West Columbia, right across the river. And so Coach Conroy is going to come talk to the Columbia Citadel Club about upcoming basketball season.
All right. Excited. Well, you can go ahead and give him the formal invitation to come on this show.
Yes, sir.
Since I know you're a basketball scholar yourself. Okay. Thomas Scruggs, thank you, sir. And we'll hope to have Andrew Miller back on when we gather next time. It's been a pleasure, and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, John. Enjoyed it very much.
All right, and thank all of you again for being a part of our show. Feel free to text us anytime at 843-779-8496. We would love to hear from you. Until we gather next time, have a great week. Enjoy the open week. This has been Citadel Gray Line, a production of CRM.